y'all doing? Welcome back to my channel. This is Security and Truth, where we get our security from the truth, which is God's word, and not from what the world says. Thank you guys so much for all the love you showed me on my last video. I truly appreciate it. Today we're talking about just feeling unlovable, right? And so one of the things that I talk about, I mentioned to you guys the last time that I wrote a book titled Pretty Suffering. It just talks about my life growing up, having a turbulent childhood and young adulthood. And one of the things that I really struggled with as a young person is feeling like I was worthy of love. And unfortunately, a lot of abuse came from my mom. My mother was a cocaine addict and alcoholic. And with that came a lot of instability and abuse. And so I'm going to read a page out of the book, or a paragraph of something that I wrote, just talking about my experience. And so on page 18, it says, at some point, my mom became very abusive towards me and my siblings. She started drinking a lot and using cocaine. I remember as a young child going to school and being in the bathroom with my pants down, looking at the skin peeling off my legs after one of those horrific beatings with the extension cord. I was thinking, as a young child, I'm thinking, why is this happening to me? Why is this my life? Why does my mother do this to me? I was very depressed, confused, and hurt. I didn't understand why, if someone loved you, they would want to hurt you like this. I saw this type of love relationship between my mother and father. My father was very abusive towards my mother. And so at a young age, it was communicated to me in my young mind that love was supposed to hurt. And now I saw this same type of love given to me and my siblings, by my mother. My stepfather at the time seemed really disconnected from what was happening. He never said anything about it. I never told anyone about the abuse because my mother would always tell me that if I went to school and told them what was happening, I would be taken away from her. And I was terrified of that. I didn't know what would happen to me if I was taken away from my family. Just the thought of that, was traumatizing. So of course I kept quiet about it. Every time we would get a bad report card or do something that we shouldn't, we would get one of those horrific beatings. And I do believe that kids should be disciplined, but that was not discipline in my eyes. That was downright abuse. If a child is bleeding and the skin is peeling off their body, a line has definitely been crossed. And so again, I'll put the link to the book in the description box below. There's so much in this book. Oh my gosh. That's just part of it. If you would like to support and purchase a copy. But yeah, so at a very young age, to me, I just kind of felt like because I was abused, because I was, sexually abused, like I talked about in my previous video, I just felt like I was unlovable. Like I just felt like, I'm supposed to be mistreated. I'm not supposed to be loved in a way that's unconditional. I'm not supposed to be loved in a way that's healthy. I never really felt that. And so that kind of thinking kind of set me on a destructive path. And so as I got older, I would get into these relationships with men that just were not gratifying or respectful. I had very low self-esteem. I had a very low view of myself. And so how that would show up in my life is that I would sleep around with men who I was good enough for them to sleep with, but not good enough for them to kiss. Like kiss was kissing was too intimate. I wasn't good enough for that. I was just somebody that, that they just wanted to sleep with. And I allowed myself to participate in those type of relationships because, again, I thought, this is what I deserve. I'm nobody, I'm nothing. I don't deserve to be loved unconditionally. And so I would just kind of continue in these bad relationships where I never got to meet the person's family or friends, or I was just somebody to be kind of like this homie lover friend situation. I remember back when I was like 15 years old, long time ago. I'm 48 now, so this was a long time ago. When because I was going through so much trauma at home, I never wanted to be there, so I would run away a lot. And that I talk about this in the book too. I would be running away, sleeping outside. Any strange man that would take me home, I would go stay with them, because I needed a place to sleep. And so I'm, between the ages of like 14, 15, I was running away from home. And so during that time, I was like, well, I need to make money. So what am I going to do to support myself out here? And I remember running into this guy. I can't remember how we met. Again, this was a long time ago. He had to be like in his 30s. And, I met him out in the street because I was out in the street all the time. And he was like, well, I'm trying to get some girls together. He wanted to be a pimp. He needed some prostitutes. So he was like, you can do that to earn some money. And I was like, well, since people seem to only use me for my body, maybe that's something that I can use to make money. And so he was like, well, you got to audition first, So me and my homie, we gonna have you over to our house tomorrow or whatever, and you can audition and we can see if you qualify for being a prostitute. This is so stupid to me. Like when I am saying it out loud, I'm like, I was so dumb, young, and naive. Like this was so stupid. And so I went over there the next day, slept with them again. I'm like 15 years old. They're in their 30s, right? They took advantage of a young girl who was naive and stupid. I slept with them. They gave me $20 and I went about my business. And when I tell y'all afterwards, like I felt so disgusting. Like I felt so dirty. I felt so ashamed. I was like, I can't believe I just did that, and at that point I knew, okay, prostitution is not for me. I can't just be out here selling my body, sleeping around. Like it just made me feel so disgusting. Even though I felt worthless already, it just made me feel less worthy, less human, And so I was like, I can't do this. And so thinking back now, if I had known how God saw me, right? As this, like if I let's look at these scriptures. I just chose two to read with y'all because I'm telling you, I could go over like 75 scriptures right now, but y'all don't have all that kind of time. So I just chose like two scriptures that if I would have just known how I was created in God's image, how God loved me so much, enough that he would give his life. God helped me to know and understand now as an adult that I was worth dying for. Like if I had viewed myself in that way, I would have never participated in any of those things. But two scriptures that I would like to read that's so encouraging. Isaiah 43 verse 7, it says, everyone who was called by my name, whom I created for my glory, whom I formed and made. Like God formed and made me in his likeness for his good. Luke 12 verse 7, it says, indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than every sparrow. Like, God knows the number of hairs on my head. That's how intimate He is with me. That's how intricately He knows me and created you, for His likeness. If I had known those things, I would have not treated myself the way that I did. I can't blame anybody else. These are things that I allowed myself to be a part of because of the way that I thought about myself. If I had realized that God, the God of the universe, created me for His own good, for His own self, for His own likeness, He created me for Him. Once I became a disciple back in 2009, like, I never felt more beautiful. When I realized, like, God loves for me and how He feels about me, I never felt more beautiful and seen in my entire life. The one thing that God did not have when He gave His life on the cross that fateful day is that relationship with me, with you, that He so desires. Everything belongs to God. If you go back to Genesis 1, God created everything, the heavens and the earth, the birds, the fish in the sea, the land, the water. He created it all. It all belongs to Him. But the one thing that He did not have until He came to die and give up His life on that cross was that redeeming relationship with you. And that's why He gave up His life. He said, were worth dying for. Like, that's how much He cares and loves you. And He knew that in order for us to be able to have reconciliation with Him, He had to die. He had to give up His life. And He said, you know what? If I can have a relationship, if this is the only way that I'm going to be able to be close to and have a relationship with, put your name in it, with Sarah, this is what I'm going to have to do. With Ben, this is what I'm going to have to do, because he or she is worth it. And so just think about that, that the God of the universe, who created the heavens and the earth, said that I have to do this because I want to be in a relationship. I have to die. I have to give up everything because I want to be in a relationship with you. Like, that is monumental. Like, I can't even explain it in words. When you know that and you internalize that and you believe that, it makes you look differently at yourself. And so you are God's most valuable possession. Never forget that. He gave us His life up for you. And so I just wanted to share, that piece of my life. I'm being very vulnerable on here. I just know that God is using my story to help somebody else, because there's somebody who's watching this video right now. You might feel like you've done things, that you've gone through things, that your life is unredeemable, that you're at a point of no return. It's a lie. I'm telling you that it is a lie from Satan. You are still alive. You are still here. And God said that you were worth dying for, no matter what you've done. No matter what you've done. Give it to Jesus. Lay it down at the foot of the cross. And so since my last video, I've gotten so many new subscribers, and I'm so encouraged by that. And because of that, I want to buy somebody some coffee. If you like me and you like a good latte, then, I want to bless somebody with $25. You can go and get you a coffee and a muffin from wherever your favorite place is, a coffee, donut, whatever. I just want to bless somebody, with a cup of coffee. It's just a small, token of my gratitude for you guys just being here and watching and, just being a part of this community. And so all you got to do is just tell me your name, what state you live in, where you're watching from, and send me look, I got Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, I got it all. Put your information down below. Probably on Sunday evening, I'll just send the money to somebody. I'm in CDT time here in Wisconsin. So right now it's 12:19 p.m. And so maybe like on Sunday, probably at 5 o'clock, I'll cut it off. 5 o'clock CDT time, and I'll send somebody $25 so you can have your coffee money for Monday morning, because you know you're gonna need it. Okay. So yeah, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. My website, the book, the scriptures that I shared today, will be in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.